Welcome back, excuse me, to a Celtic state of mind. The excitement is overcoming. I am Paul John Dykes.
Are
I'm
you just
delighted
thinking
to
about
join.
Jerry and his pants? Is that what it
I
is?
was for a moment, yeah. I'm going to highlight what came up in the comments in the pre-match. I'm joined by Kevin McCluskey, and we're here to talk about Celtic 3, Buckie Thistle 0. Jim Orr, as Joseph McGonigal says, can now enjoy the game because, of course, Jim doesn't enjoy a game until we're 3 goals to the goods. We've had the ball in the net 6 times. There's been a VAR shout for a penalty. Plenty happening in the first half, Kevin. And one of those games where if you come up against 11 bodies who are, well drilled and disciplined and sticking to their game plan, it's down to you to, cut through them, create the chances and get the goals. It can be a frustrating game to be involved in. It can be a frustrating watch. But we stuck to our game plan. We got the 3 goals, and we've shown by having the ball in the net 6 times that we are cutting through this rigid defence. And I think second half, when you're sitting at 3-0 up, it could well be floodgates opening.
Yeah, you'd like to hope so. It's been a bit of a weird first half, and I'd almost forgotten about that VAR penalty incident right at the beginning because it
Yeah.
seems so long ago. Like, so in a way, so much has happened, but also there's been spells when so little has happened. But we have dominated this game like we should do. We've had all the possession. They had one big chance near the end, and Hart makes a save. We break up the park and get the third goal. So we have scored 3 that have counted. The ball's been in the net 6 times. It's been, in that respect, I guess, the kind of dominant performance that you would expect. And yeah, in the second half, they're going to tire because they're not used to playing to this kind of standard, this level. So I would expect we'll get a few more goals in the second half. But before we go on, let's just say, fair play to Buckie Thistle. I mean, they have defended, they've put everyone behind the ball. But there's been certain times in that game where it's been difficult to see that they're like in the fifth tier. They've defended almost as well as any other SPFL side that we've come up against this season, and I think that's to be credit to them.
You've
We've
got to,
created chances, but
yeah,
they've done well.
you've got to give credit to them, Kevin. I was saying that there, if they're doing well in the league, and they clearly are in the 5th tier of the Scottish Pyramid, it's all about discipline. It's all about following that game plan. Otherwise, Celtic could take 10 goals off you, and then you were sitting here. I would say that of the VAR decisions, for example, and I'm going to bring up some of the comments, there probably is one, regardless of who the opposition is, there probably is one that I think they got wrong. I don't see there being anything wrong with Greg Taylor's goal. That's the one that I think they got wrong, Kev. But, if you're going in at 3-0 at half time, a lot of the big scoring games that we've had in the past, it's not because you've gone in at 5 or 6-0 at half time. It comes down to the full-time footballers against part-timers. That's what it comes down to, I think. That's where the real golf shows. You've got that quality, of course. Some of the assists, for example, were phenomenal passing moves from the likes of O'Reilly, the cross from Abada. Brilliant football. That's the quality. That's the difference in quality. But come to 60 minutes, that's when you might end up seeing a glut of goals. And that's the big, for me, that's a big chasm. It's the difference between part-timers and full-time footballers.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of the point I was trying to make there. That as the game goes on, they'll tire, and we'll be able to take advantage of that. So I would think in the final 30, 20 minutes of the game, if we haven't scored another before, then we should get 2 or 3 towards the end. Because yeah, they will tire. They'll have stuck to the game plan as they have done till now, but they're just not used to that step up in class. So they will tire, and you can see it already. Like with some of the moves, like for the goals that we've had to score good goals against them. So again, that's credit to them and their defensive shape and organisation. But once it's come down to it, we've had the players that have been able to make the runs and pull defenders out of position. And then you've got Matt O'Reilly, who's just been sensational again with his passing. He's split the defence open a few times. I think he had a hand in every single one of the goals. I've enjoyed watching Leo Labada again. And I think Kyogo's enjoyed playing up alongside him because he's finally getting that low cross into that near post area that he loves. If only Abada didn't want to be Pipo Inzaghi and he could stay on side, would be all right. We would have that 5 or 6 goal lead, and Jerry could be a wee bit more comfortable for tomorrow.
For anyone who missed it, Jerry announced in the comment section, so it's there for keeps. I don't think you can delete it, Jerry.
Oh no, it's there.
If we
I've got
don't
a
win,
screenshot of it. It's fine.
there you go. 8-0. If we don't win 8-0, Jerry is going to appear on the Acsom bulletin tomorrow at 12:30, and he's in underwear. I don't know if it's his underwear. We shall wait and see. Listen, it's great. We're football fans. We love to see goals, and I would be ruthless in that respect. I think, like you said before the game, Kev, it would be complacent and a lack of respect if you didn't go hell for leather. I think, I remember a game, couldn't tell you the opposition, where when Kinchelski signed for Rangers, he stood on the ball. You remember that? And it was one of the moments, it was a cigar moment. It was a proper cigar moment, and you don't do that. You don't do that against your opposition. You just, you stick to your game plan. You try and create as many chances as you possibly can. And we've already had
it's also for your own pay in public.
Yeah, of course.
Of
course. And
put
those
on a show for your own fans. Regardless of anything else, of respect for opposition, respect your fans. Boys have paid good money to go out and watch this performance today in pretty horrific conditions by the look of it. So send them home happy with a big scoreline.
Boys and girls. You and Boy Martin has taken his youngest daughter to Celtic Park for the first time. So big shout out to you, and I hope you're enjoying it, pal. And everybody else who's at the game and in the comment section. I'm just going to turn my attention for the next few minutes to those comments. And Sean Thompson, third goal reminds me of the football we played under Ange. Yeah, that kind of free-flowing movement. I think Abada's ball was phenomenal. People will probably say, yeah, but look who you're playing. I mean, listen, it was a pinpoint ball. The timing of Kyogo's run was phenomenal. Probably the goalie should have got it, and Kyogo's nipped in there. Brilliant. That's what we like to see. Joseph McGonigal, regardless of the score, the offside call is a joke. It caught the commentary out on Viaplay, I think. I agree with you, Joseph. I've looked at all three of the goals that have been chopped off. It's the Taylor one. Kev, I don't see the offside. I just don't see it.
No, I didn't see that one either. I thought the first two VAR decisions, so the one for the penalty, it's pretty clear that Abada was offside from the beginning of that move. I don't know how it took them so long. I think Michael Stewart said that in the commentary. It took us one view or two views, 10, 15 seconds, and it's offside. It was 2 minutes for that. That's ridiculous. And the Taylor one, I've no idea. At first, they didn't even produce a still to show that he was offside, and then I don't see where the offside comes from in that one at all. The other two, fine. I think Palma and Abada were both offside on those two for the goals, but yeah, the Taylor one's ridiculous.
So Taylor, Kyogo, and Bernardo.
I don't want us to have a goal that's got any sort of VAR fingerprints on it in this game, because we should be better than that. We can have VAR decisions go against us, and we should still be able to win this game. But the point is, VAR should get those big calls right, and Taylor's goal.
Regardless of the opposition, regardless of the competition, it should definitely be called right. And as I was saying there, so Bernardo, Kyogo, and Taylor denied goals. Taylor would be the one who I think would be unhappy if he sees it back. John Sweeney, even against Buckie, the dodgy VAR officials are at it with that disgraceful decision, as it looked well onside. It looked onside to me as well. And everybody else, I think, who's commenting on it, we've all seen the same decision and we've come to the same conclusion. And we've also got a comment coming in. Might just be a personal thing, but I find Palma rather boring to watch. His one-dimensional play style is a bit boring. Struggle to beat the right back. Yang has faults, but he's entertaining. When that comment came up, the first thing I checked was the subs bench. Yang's not on it, Kev. And although I listened to and watched the pre-match from Rodgers, I remember him talking about, obviously, our new signing, Nicolas Kuhn, being out due to dental work, Carter Vickers being out, although he'll return for the Ross County game. But I didn't hear any comment on Yang. So I don't know. I don't think he'll be rested because he's not really played a great deal of football since he signed. And yeah, I get what you mean. He can take on a man. Palma doesn't tend to do that. He loves to cut inside. He's getting a bit of stick in the comments. That's the reason I brought that up, Kev. Palma is getting a bit of stick in the comments. And we all know that he's got good stats. I mean, I think what I said about Palma in the past, and it's something that you hope will improve in the second half. First thing is he's inconsistent, sometimes in the same game. You can have flashes of brilliance, but disappears from the game. Early part of that game, Buckie were on a breakaway. They finally won a free kick. It was in the final third of the Celtic's half. They won a free kick, but when you watch the move, Palma has got the opportunity, Kev, to put in a tackle. And he just kind of not only runs alongside the guy, but starts, angling his run, so he's running away from him as well. He's not interested in that. He's tracking back, right? It's one of the ones where, look, Gaffer, I'm tracking back. Yeah, but you're not tackling. You're not even putting your body in the way of the player, the ball. He starts to move away. One of the ones where it's like, I'm calling for the ball with my hands up, but I know I'm marked. I'm not in the right space because I don't really want it. One of the ones, I think his defensive play has to be worked on. We criticised Jota for it in season 1 under Ange as well, though, Kev. I mean, it's something you can add to your game.
Yeah, of course it is. I think with the Yang, I think he's away with South Korea to the Asian Cup.
God
So I think
almighty,
that's
how
why
could I
he's not here.
forget that? Good shout.
Aye. So that's why he's not there. But yeah, the comment about Palma, I don't think he's a boring player to watch. I think he can be exciting because he's got that ability to cut inside and unleash delicious cross balls into the penalty area, and he's got that shot on him. But he's a hugely frustrating player. So I'd say he's frustrating rather than boring because he is struggling against a fifth tier team to beat the right back consistently. He's he's been a little bit too obvious that he wants to cut inside, and the defender's shown him inside. When he's tried to go down the line, he's blocked his crosses. So he's been poor today. But he could come out in the second half and score a couple of goals because he's got it in him at the same time. The defensive side of his game, though, is the thing that probably bugs me more than anything because I've noticed this more and more now that I'm looking for it. He doesn't track back. So Taylor is isolated as your left fullback there. He's getting no support ahead of him. It is something that can be worked on. We worked on it with Jota last season, so he can improve it, but it's up to him to want to do that. And I don't know him well enough as a player to know if that's something that he would look to do, or if he is just, I'm an offensive player, and that's the side of the game I want to focus on. But he can get away with it today because Buckie aren't going to cause us too many problems. But when you're coming into the bigger games, you need him to be able to track back. You need him to be more of a team player. Or you need to look at and say, he's not a left winger. We need to move him inside a wee bit more where his lack of defensive skills will hurt us less.
The thing with that, first of all, I forgot that your man Yang's away. I've only been speaking about it for the last month or two since he got picked in the squad. But with Palma, for me, it's one of those ones where I talk about mentality. And you come to a club like Celtic and you're a winger and it's all about creating chances and assists and goals at your previous club. You come to Celtic, you think that's fine. Look at my data, but the example I use is Turnbull. Turnbull, if you want to look at data, you would play him. In terms of goal creation, I'm talking about, Kev. I'm not talking about the full, all the metrics that are available to the data team. But when you start looking at the way you want to play and the way that you want your midfielders and your wingers to track back and be part of your defensive makeup, that's when you start looking at players and saying, right, you could be a really, creative player, setting up goals with outside of your boot against Aberdeen, scoring Champions League goals. But if you're not going to do this other bit, then you're not actually going to be suited to this team. And it is a mentality thing because, he would be a star player at his previous club and maybe at his next club, star player because he's scoring the goals and he's getting the assists, Kev. And there's been players in the past who probably have been star players without that. Moravcik, we used Moravcik as an example, right? Moravcik wasn't a defender. He would never do the tracking back. The teammates that you talk to now who played alongside him still go on about it because he was so lauded, but he wouldn't do the dirty work. You don't get away with it now in the modern game, Kev. And it is something he needs to add to his game. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect, and I'm going to bring it up, is Joseph again, talking about the predictable nature of cutting inside. You need to have more tools, because if you're cutting inside all the time, regardless if you're playing Buckie, Thistle, Kilmarnock, or Atletico Madrid, you're going to be sussed out pretty quickly. And they'll know, right, he doesn't like going out on his left foot. Okay, you force him out on his left foot. And you've got obviously Greg Taylor overlapping him, looking to give him an out as well. And that has worked today, and it's worked throughout the season. But he is getting a bit of stick. He's getting a bit of stick in the comments here. David Boyle, obviously nobody's going to be giving Holmes stick because Holmes had a decent first half, Kev. What are you laughing at?
Exactly, Paul. Nobody anywhere would have dropped anything in a WhatsApp chat to say they'd get rid of Holmes, they'd sub him off at half time. No.
Take him off at half time, 32 minutes, 33 minutes late, 1 minute later, 60 seconds later, and he's on the score sheet. But that was a private WhatsApp group, so thanks for sharing that, Kev.
No worries, anytime, mate. Your secret's not safe with me.
Of course. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe.
Nothing safe. I think Holmes had a good half, even before he scored his goal. I actually thought he'd done all right. I thought the three in the midfield were all pretty good. They've all looked pretty safe and secure in the ball. But one thing I was going to say back to Palma was I've noticed a few times he's been free on the left with his hands up asking for the ball, and it's either been Scales or Home, and they've turned and played it the other way. So I'm beginning to wonder if there's, even within the team, not that they don't trust him, but they just think, we give him the ball, it's only going to come back inside anyway. And maybe we just need somebody else. We don't have another left winger though at the moment. Mikey Johnson. Maybe.
Well,
hit the byline.
Yeah. You've got a lot of them can switch, can't they? They can switch wings, and Mikey Johnson can play out there as well. There's been a few calls for Vata. I think I'm banned from mentioning Rocco Vata, but he has been mentioned in the comment section. We're going into the second half, Kev. A repeat of the scoreline in the second half would be nice. Let's go and rejoin the action. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. Join us at full time. All that's left for me to say, thank you again, Kevin McCluskey, for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.
Nice one.